Come on in. Yeah, we just started, so yeah, please join in. So when we are talking about Agile, when we mentioned the Agile, the first thing that come up to your mind is actually teams agility, software development, Scrum, all of this stuff. But you know, here, as I have already mentioned, you know, is everything about the business agility, something that we are facing all the time, you know, when we are doing our jobs in different companies. So let's jump into this topic. At first, I would like to understand, you know, how many of you have already heard about the disciplined Agile? Is it something familiar? Excellent. Any deeper knowledge about the disciplined Agile? To be honest, when I first heard about the disciplined Agile, I meant, you know, come on, you know, discipline and Agile in the same sentence, it's something kind of blasphemic, you know, I don't know what was that. But you know, you will see, you know, this approach is quite pragmatic, and it deals with achieving real business agility, something that we would like, you know, to share today, how to do it, actually. It is so pragmatic, it's easy to follow. There exist, you know, a couple of steps that you will need, you know, to follow. Some of you have already walked these steps, you know, together with me, so a colleague of mine from Setting. So I think that he can share some experiences later on, of course, if you want to, because we walk through this framework, you know, together in our try to achieve the business agility in Setting. So our today's focus is on trying to understand, you know, what is our inherent problem in companies, in our way of working, actually. But not way of working in teams, in Agile teams, you know, but in companies that do want, you know, to achieve this agility. Agile is something that is followed by a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of, you know, myths, etc. When companies want to achieve this agility, you know, they try, you know, to react to every problem, to any, you know, things that are coming, you know, from the market. This is not just that. Agility is not about reacting to anything from a side. So let's dive in. Any company looks like this. Actually, this is the common organizational structure. You have here, as an, you know, example, couple of segments, couple of sectors, you know, within some imaginary company: HR, sales, marketing, product management, development, support, etc. So we would like, you know, the most common way of management is to understand whether the people are properly utilized, are they being productive, etc. Do they do the quality work? What is the challenge, actually? We are managing people vertically. You know that. We are managing people vertically, while our job, our processes are not vertical. They're going horizontally. This is something normal. This is something common for any company in the world. And usually, because of this clash between two different organizational structures, one is hierarchical and the other one is process or value stream structure, you have a lot of clashes along the way. Usually, these managers, I apologize for this. My bad, sorry. So these managers are often conflicting each other about resources, about their availability, about their utilization, all of this stuff. And we are trying, following this pattern, we are actually trying to manage our people, being focused on utilization and productivity of those people. We are trying to manage vertically, even though how our processes, our value flows this way. So we are actually doing everything against the value flow. And this is a common pattern. So no one is actually managing the value. We are trying to be focused to managing the people, and we are too busy managing people. I hope that this, not hope, this is not so fortunate word. I hope that you understand that. You see that all the time. This is not something new to you. Usually, when we're talking about the flow of value, the flow of value goes this way. Everything is focused on our customers. No matter what our company do or what do we do, actually, everything starts with the customer, and the flow of value goes, for example, through sales, through marketing, and all of those people that do parts of the job along the way of flowing the value. Value stream, when we are talking about the value, we should be focused on something called value stream. You will see that discipline Agile is focused on managing the value streams. And you will see, and we will try, to do something in a way to understand, how to establish managing the value stream. This is actually something that I would like, to share with you, and this is just the introduction to do that. So we need to understand the value stream, how it works, because in order to properly manage our work, we should not be focused only on people, but actually on flowing the value. And how to establish that? But before that, the value streams are actually the flow of actions, the flow activities that are with a focus to the realization of the value. Actually, we're not talking here about the people. The value stream is the work, the activities along the way, not the people. So we should not be focused on managing people, but rather on managing the flow of value. This is the kind of twist in our approach. So when we are talking about these clashes, the main manifestation of these clashes are a lot of different waiting states in our value stream. I hope that you understand that as well. So for example, we have some requests from the customer to the sales. The sales should be waiting for someone's approval in order to proceed. When they receive some approval, they will continue with some activity, and only this activity will add the value. But between those activities, you will be having a lot of different waiting states that definitely not produce any additional value. So this is the usual value stream. You will see from the example that I brought how these waiting states actually heavily impact, the value stream from some of the telco company, the British Telecom. This is the well-known diagram. They measured, actually they produced after measuring the state before implementing the Agile value stream management and after, and how they improved. So actually, we should be asking ourselves, what percent of our time is our work moving forward? What percent of our time is actually productive? This is the focus. And how to achieve more productivity from that? By utilization? Definitely not. Being focused on utilizing people, 100% being utilized, this is completely anti-pattern in Agile. You know that. And how to do that, actually? Actually, we should, one of the first things that we should do is establish the visibility upstream and downstream. But this is only one of the things. Let us dive deeper. Actually, what is our main focus in improving the value stream? It is actually being focused to value, to managing value, and how to do that. You know, we should be focused on the entire value stream. You will see in a second why. Focus on small delivery increments and lowering the risk. Why I'm talking about that, you know, it is actually the holistic approach. It is the system thinking, system approach, all of those buzzwords. Why are they important? Because if we are focused only on managing your value of a single team, for example, such as many of the companies are trying, such as the way how many of the companies are trying to achieve the business agility. Send out a couple of people, you know, to some Scrum Master trainings, and after they come back, you know, so let us start doing Scrum. And we will become eventually Agile. It's not how it works. And why? Because we are not focused on the whole value stream, the whole system. In achieving the full agility, let me tell that bluntly, the whole company and everyone, every bits and pieces in the company should become Agile. So the holistic approach is the important thing. And this is the simplest possible question. Actually, can you tell me which part of the airplane is responsible for flight?
The plane.
The plane itself. So we can't, you know, decide about any of the parts of the plane that is responsible for the flight. That's a stupid question, actually. But we are thinking that way when we are trying to achieve agility in our companies. We're trying to be focused on some bits and pieces and not on the system as a whole. And we will see in a minute, you know, how to do that properly, actually. So the local optimization, for example, you have a huge company, quite big organizational structure, and you are trying to achieve business agility with pushing some of the teams to do Agile, to start doing their job in increments, you know, daily stand-ups. Okay, so we are Agile. Definitely not. We're not looking at it as a system. And of course, it's combining the components in a company. For example, this team and that team, let us be focused on this team, and let us make them Agile, and after that, let us be focused on, for example, marketing team, and let us try to make them Agile. It's not how will bring us agility as a whole, as for the system as a whole. This is kind of reductionist thinking, where we are thinking that all those particles are actually combined together, are building the system. Definitely not. The system includes the people using it, interactions, all of this, the communication, collaboration, as something that you have in something that is well known for you, and this is the Agile team. So the main question is how to expand this agility, you know, to all of these parts of the value stream. So, systems are about the relationships. They're not just components. Just to wrap up this, what we said previously. Value streams are there to make these relationships actually visible. Start with Scrum and these main, things that we are talking when we are thinking about Scrum. Transparency. This is actually it, and we want to start thinking of terms in terms of flow. So, how to do that? In Discipline Agile, we are focused in establishing value streams. And you will see in a minute how to do that. There exist, a couple of different value streams. What are actually the value streams? Some of you, perhaps, in some of your job positions, used to work with managing processes. Earlier, when we were talking about the processes, you had the core business processes, the supportive, the management business process. This is similar stuff. But extended, to agility, to agility principles. So we have actually the four main types of the value streams. The development value stream. Well, it's not about software development. It is the value stream that produces something. And you will see in a minute how. So, operational. This is the value stream actually that's focused to actually using something. This is the business as usual actually. And all of those processes that are actually how we usually do our job. Enabling, this is actually the supporting stuff and also the support. So in Discipline Agile, and we are right now, we are coming, to the methodology that I wanted to share with you. We have one it's a framework. It's actually part of the Discipline Agile toolbox. That's called Discipline Agile Flex approach. It is quite pragmatic approach that will allow you to establish a proper value stream management in your companies. To include all of these, what we spoke previously, meaning how to establish the collaboration among different parts of the company, how to improve actually all of those stuff that you are recognizing as some roadblocks, some pain points and everything else, how to do that properly. So actually, what is the main starting point? Usually, when I'm entering some company, trying to help them being agile and everything else, and I think that you have the similar experience as I have. One of the first sentences they share with me is, "Oh, we are so special. We are so special, there is no similar company to us." What is so surprisingly fact, the majority of the companies, the main value streams and how they flow are in 80% similar to all the companies in the world. And you will see how. And this is the main starting point that DA Flex starts with. So, actually, all of the companies are actually trying to produce the value. Start with a simple fact, this value stream that I showed you already. We are starting with the customer, so all companies are starting with some of the customer. Outside the company customer or inside, you have, for example, in setting, customers that are in-house. And we were talking about that, when we are establishing this value stream. So how to establish that? And this is the framework, actually, and we will try to do that, in a couple of minutes. There are just 5 steps in establishing the value stream management in discipline Agile. The first one is trying to understand what is the idealized value stream in the company. And you will see the purpose of it. So we are not talking about detailed value stream that you would like, to establish management into. So we're talking about the idealized value stream, and you will see why. This is the first step. The second one is to understand our challenges. Challenges we will play later on, to try to recognize some challenges that all of us are facing. Challenges such as waiting states, for example, for approval, rework, and all of this stuff. I will let you decide about your challenges later on. So we will need, to understand that. Challenges such as bottlenecks, pain points in our way of working, whatever they are. After that, we should identify the actions to take. How to address those challenges. This is a very pragmatic approach, and it works. We are doing that, a colleague of mine in Novi Sad, in company Novi Sad, excellent company, not that big, but they faced a lot of challenges with their organization and the value stream, how it flows. It's a development company, 80 employees, something like that. Yeah, and quite with a quite great, very nice, projects. So we need to identify actions, how to address those challenges. Later on, we need to create something that is improvement backlog. Of course, when we recognize actions, right now I hope that you are thinking about the challenges that you are facing in your companies, in your present companies, and you can understand that there are a huge amount of those challenges and how to properly address them. But well, let us use, the thing that you already know, from Agile. Let us, from those challenges, let us address those challenges with some actions, and let us make the product backlog of those challenges. Of course, we are not named that product backlog as a product backlog, but the improvement backlog, but it's also backlog. So what do we do with the backlog? We need to prioritize that. And we need to decide, how and when to work. Who will work on those challenges, on addressing those challenges. So with this approach, actually we are establishing the value stream management. It looks very simple, isn't it? And it is. It's more simple than you think. And of course we need to keep improving, because achieving business agility is not a goal that we will achieve eventually at some point, and okay, we are good now. No, it's a continuous improvement, never-ending story. It's a way of living, way of working. All the time we can be better. So, how it works? This kind of idealized value stream. It starts with customers. Customers generate some needs, recognize some business needs, some requests to a company. And they should, all of those needs and initiatives, new initiatives should be properly managed, through your inflow and coming, to something that you should establish as a portfolio step in this workflow. whether you have it formally organized or not, you have some way of managing all of those items that are in the inflow of the company. I mean the initiatives, new initiatives, business needs, recognized requests, etc. So, of course, we need to analyze them somehow to generate kind of business cases, etc. We will address that later on. And with this, we are creating kind of business backlog. Why that? Because we need to, at this stage, we need to decide about which of those initiatives are ready to be taken into implementation. You know the stuff that usually companies have many more requests going in than resources available, to do on those requests. So you need somehow, to juggle, to manage your resources at this stage. Usually the companies, from my experience, do not have this step. And they are just pushing into the implementation each and every thing. And you will, as a result, you have multitasking, attrition, burnout people, all this stuff. You don't have that?
We do, yes, we do.
Yeah, because of this stage. Of course, we need to have some product management in whatever way or way of working. And of course, after that, we need to manage some kind of development intake. We have development teams. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter actually what does that mean, development? What is this company? We are not talking just about the company that develops software products. It can be any other company producing some value. Of course, we are integrating the products and the outputs and outcomes from different teams to be able, to deploy, back to the customers, and this is the flow. This is the flow value. And actually, this is the canvas in which we are using in this discipline Agile value stream management. We are starting with the idealized value stream. And this is the canvas. Bluntly speaking, we can use that in a way of putting it on a wall, printing it out in a huge format, in a paper, and sticking it out, on the wall. And after that, you will see, what to do that. Of course, you can use Miro or Mural, all of those softwares, for that purpose. And what to do next? First thing before doing the next step. So the first step is to recognize the idealized value stream. This is the most common value stream. But you could have different ways, of course, different steps. It depends on the company you're working for. And you would like, to establish the value stream management. Later on, we need to recognize challenges, bottlenecks.
Can I add something at this point?
Please.
Since we talk about idealized value stream, should we have, what are the preconditions to even start thinking about this, these value streams and in this concept?
Mm-hmm.
Should we have ideal customer defined, as a company or something like that?
This is excellent.
Or, what are the preconditions so we can apply this model?
This is excellent. But let me answer your question in a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Yeah, because let's think this way. If we recognize that we don't know our customers, for example, this question of yours, actually leads actually me thinking about this fact that we might not know our customer. So we can recognize that as a challenge, of course, and we can address that during the establishment of the value stream. And let's wait, for just a couple minutes, to address that. So this challenge, for example, as well as other challenges, when we are talking about producing the value in our value stream, so we are thinking, okay, we have the portfolio management, for example, or we don't have a portfolio management, but we are establishing it. We would like to do that. But we recognize already the challenges at this step. For example, we don't have the proper portfolio management established. We don't have the prioritization of the initiatives. We don't know how to properly draft the business case. We don't have the business case. The present business case is too heavy. We don't have a proper business analysis at this stage. Our company doesn't possess the business analytics at all, or the business analysis capability. All of these are challenges. So we need somehow to recognize them. This canvas allows us to consolidate all of our thoughts, and when we recognize these challenges, and this is the reason why I ask you, just to wait a couple more minutes, is we need first to gather all of those challenges that we can recognize. So how to do that? Of course, we can choose different approaches to recognize those challenges. For example, we can decide, what I'm usually doing, when I'm entering the company. I'm trying, of course, to talk to the people, to speak with people who are doing their job here. Trying to understand from their perspective, how they currently do their job. How do they see, the potential improvements, the bottlenecks and all of this stuff, So this is the first approach. So from the some amount of interviews, structured interviews, you will gather a lot of information about these bottlenecks along the way. Secondly, you can observe the way they work their job from outside. Okay, I will not be talking anything. Let me just to be with you and to try to understand what do you do. From the idea. Actually, this is the value stream from the idea to the realization. From the initiative to the product. You can name it different ways. Yes, please.
No, thank you. So, question. So this is let's say overview of complete flow from the beginning to the end. So
Yes.
it could recognize something, but what in case inside of development we have some smaller value streams?
Excellent.
Do we need to also overview that so we understand something?
Yeah,
So
we'll come to that.
okay, so we prepare kind of small value streams out of each
Absolutely.
each process, yeah?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. You want to ask something? I know. Okay, cool. So we need to gather all of these, and you will see how pragmatically this canvas allows us later on, to deal with all of these facts that we gather. So we just need to gather all of everything, each and every challenge that we are facing. This is the first step. Sorry, the second step. This is the first step is to sketch our idealized value stream, whatever it is. And along the way, let us recognize those challenges. Those challenges can be this. redoing requirements, building unneeded features, fixing bugs, etc., etc. All of those stuff. So right now we are not talking about the specific part in the value stream when we recognize that. We are just trying, to articulate everything that we recognize from different points of view, from different people, because by talking with the people, you will come up, with some recognized, things, of course. This is the question, actually, what percentage of your time is spent on these on the right. So, what to do? So this is actually the next stuff. And the third step is actually to, with the stickers, use each sticker to write down some of those challenges, and we need to place those challenges to the part of the value stream they belong to. It is the group game. So you need to recognize, the proper group who will help you, not just articulate all of these challenges, but to structure them properly in this value stream. So the first thing is to position them in the field they are belonging to, and the second, to decide with this group what is the priority of this, by pulling it upwards or downwards. So these items are of the highest priority. It's quite similar to the user story mapping. Quite similar. Simple. So with this, what is the next logical step? Let us recognize how to address. What would be the steps to address all of this? What are the actions? Discipline Agile framework possesses excellent thing. We will get back to this. Yeah, excellent thing called guided continuous improvement. When you, for example, recognize some of the challenges, for example, with the way of working, you have the challenge, I don't know, with reuse known strategies, for example. In this part of the framework, Discipline Agile framework, they will suggest to you a potential point of improvement. They will help you improve. That doesn't mean that that all of these answers to some of your challenges will work at your place, but you will need to decide. They will recommend, and based on your, I don't know, the environment, some of the other factors that you need to consider, you will choose which of those you will take as a good suggestion. But let's get back to this. So the first thing, let us position the challenges, let us define the action items, how to address them, and to improve these priorities, let us vote. This is voting. After that, we are good to create something like this. This is the improvement backlog. With the improvement backlog, you have this left side, the problem side. It's pragmatic, it's easy. The problem side, the business needs, the pain points, bottlenecks, whatever. And the solution side, activities. With the priorities, you have the backlog for improving your value stream. With this pragmatic approach, you will actually address all of those challenges that we were talking about. This simple Excel sheet. It's not a big deal. Of course, in Discipline Agile framework, you will find this recommendations. based on different parts of the different segments of the flow, whether it's part of the inception or development or transition to the customer. You'll find a lot of different already recognized, pain points and improvement points. With this, you will have, something as they called, the guided continuous improvement. All of us, when we are dealing with Agile and working in an Agile mindset, are living in a kind of continuous improvement world. But it's good to have a, helping hand from the side, some idea. And this is the idea behind that, this is the motivation. They actually gathered all of the challenges and recommendations on those challenges, to help the practitioners such as you are. So these are just the examples. So with this,
Sorry,
yeah,
before we move to
please.
CEO.
Please.
Since we are talking about the framework, right? It's simple, it should be intuitive, it should be
Yep.
something that we already do in kind of ways, but have a structure, right?
Yep.
Just to be identify the difference between actions and improvements.
Mm-hmm.
We have first idealized value stream, then we have challenges which we identified. How you differentiate between actions and improvements? Are the actions like some initial improvement, and improvement is everything after, or how do you put that in a framework?
They're more or less, yeah.
Is there like real difference, or it's like
No. Just terminology difference.
between actions and improvements? So it's the same thing.
The same thing. Yeah, the same thing. Well, improvement is some kind of general term, while the action is the actual activity that you will undertake, in order to improve
Okay, just
something.
asking about the
Yeah.
understanding, maybe something I missed. Thank you.
No worries. But actually, this is it. And with this approach, you can track your progress in achieving this value stream management quite well. You will definitely know, what would be the next part in your way. How to address some of the next parts. Who will be working on the next segments, etc., etc. I'm more than happy, to share with you, some of those. Because, as I have already told you, this is the simple Excel sheet, but the idea behind that is something very good, and actually something that works well, very, very well. Okay. So if you, well, let's imagine some discussion with the CEO. You could pick any of the project that took 3 to 4 times longer than it would have taken, and you can ask him if he's ready, he's willing to pay 20% more to get it done in 4 months instead of 12. How to achieve that? The only way how to do that properly is to get rid of the delays, not to speed things up. This is the main twist in the way of thinking. Usually, managers are forcing people to be more productive, more focused, to work more, to work overtime, as Mr. Musk did. Yesterday, he tweeted, to people, to be ready, to work overtime. Otherwise, they should be, found themselves, out of the company. This is a strange approach, This is the old way of thinking about the utilization of the resources. We should be focused on overcoming all of those challenges. Those challenges are actually something that cause delays. Please.
I have a question.
Yes.
To get rid of delays, you have some, say, procedural things
Mhm.
that are related. What maybe it happened to you with your experience, maybe you call it later, but what when those delays are basically people, positions in the company that are being an impediment, blocking,
Mhm.
and constantly pushing you backwards?
Mm.
Has that ever happened to you? How to handle
Absolutely.
that?
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you for the question. It's the question of all questions. It's a question for $1 million. There is no simple answer to that question, actually. Why? Because this approach, as any other organizational change management, this is the organizational change management approach, will cause this kind of effect, many people will push back, Everyone is ready to change if they are not supposed to be changed. If this is something that should be happen to someone other, okay, we are ideal, but these guys should be changed. Changing people way of working, the common way of working is the hardest stuff. And usually the main obstacles that I have, from my experience, is with the mid-management. So the middle management, and this is, we should not be blaming these people. I can understand them fully, because they are in not that great position, from one point of view that they should be reporting, to someone from above, and they should be managing the people below. And with this approach, we are actually trying to achieve something as distributed decision making. This should be generating a lot of fear for them. Yes, please.
Should get rid of distributed decision making.
No, we should implement the distributed decision making. No.
Okay.
It is the agile way.
A little bit contrary to
Yes.
what we've been saying so far.
Yeah, because distributed decision making is actually one of the agile,
Yeah.
especially business agility, things that we would like, to achieve. But this will cause a lot of fear among the mid managers, because they will start because of that, they should be starting, thinking about their reason of existing. It's not that easy actually to explain to them, and they will become, a lot of actually blockers, and a lot of pushbacks will come, from that part. But how to deal with that? Well, as I told you, it's not that easy, but a couple of things that you should start with is to establish transparency, and not just transparency, but brutal transparency. This first thing. Try to gather some kind of good change coalition, so the people who are ready to lead these changes. Also, from my experience, it's very hard to do that only in-house. It's strange, but the best way, the best approach is to have consultancy external to the company, and to have some forces that are willing, to change in-house, and with this coalition you will win. If you have only the consultancy external without this support internally, you will fail, and the other way around. If you have only, some forces in-house, without this support external, you'll also surely fail. Why? Well, actually, there exists, a sentence in our language. I don't know how to translate that. Pop iz tuđeg sela se više sluša od popa iz svog sela. How to translate that? This is actually the first rule in consultancy. I will. I don't know how to translate that.
External authority.
There is a need for authority, and then
Yeah.
typically a lot of people you work with every day there is well.
Yeah.
Something.
Something like that. Exactly. Thank you. They usually, and especially high levels of management, they are more ready to trust someone external to the company than the people who they see each and every day. Strange thing, but the fact, we are humans. Unfortunately, we are not perfect. We are imperfect. Start with me. So this is the fact. Yeah. And we need to take that in mind. And this is the British Telecom. When they started, actually, they measured this their value stream also from the initiative. So this is the initial idea through all of those steps until deployment. When they started, and they of course measured. These are the activities, and between the activities you will see some waiting states. For example, generating the business case, the effective time that they will spend, working on the business case, on drafting the business case and improving that was 10 days, and but with a lot of rework, handbags. Sorry, go ahead.
Do you consider developing a business case as a value-added or non-value-added activity, or something else?
Excellent. Can you tell me? Can you answer this question?
I would say that is wasteful but necessary. I wouldn't say that it's
Mhm.
value-added because I think that end customer of BT is not ready to pay for developing a business case.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I will tell you a different thing. From my point of view, the business case and the way how I implement the business cases in the value stream, they are extremely valuable.
I didn't say that they are not valuable. I said value-added activity.
Understood.
Valuable
Understood.
for the company, yes, but for the end customer, not really.
Why? I think, thank you for that. Why I think that it is of value, generating value, because it will prevent later a lot of reworks, misunderstandings about achieving the final objective and everything else, because in the business case, you should be drafting and the way how I understand the business case, not, the usual understanding of business case as a kind of financial document. It's not. It's definitely not. With the business case, we are articulating actually and justifying the initiative. And with it, we are trying to predict the value that we are trying to achieve. So not the output, but rather the outcome. So this is the difference. All of us, and even this value stream, are focused to delivering the outputs. This is not the reason why we are undertaking the projects. The reason is generating the value. Output is just a kind of conveyor of the value. And this is where a lot of people has kind of misunderstanding. With the business case, we are trying to understand, what would be the value and what would be our success criteria, trying to understand, to equalize the understanding about the end outcome in all of the participants. If we don't have this kind of document, for example, we will generate a lot of mess afterwards. this is the reason why I think, this is the...
But can you explain it? So this. So
Please.
if you have a very, very nice business case on strategy level, and we are talking about process which is basically saying that we are probably deploying some fiber through London area, for example, because we are talking about BT.
Yep.
So do you think the business case, very well done, will stop errors on the field?
No.
So rework will be there as
No. Which
no
part?
matter how.
Which part of the plane is? It is part.
This
It is
like
part
a
of the
missing
system.
part of work, and cannot prevent all rewards.
We can argue. We can argue. Yeah.
No
That's a good point. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's a good point. So let's. We're slightly over that. We can stay afterwards. Thank you a lot for this. So with this, let me cut this story short. Their effectiveness actually measured by simply dividing the effective time that they should have spent on working on these productive activities with the overall time spent. Gave them, the percentage of their effectiveness. This is the 10.3%. That was after the Agile implementation. They actually increased that, by 430%. How come? By just reducing these waiting states. Only that in the value stream. Everything that is not productive. So, and we will end with this, just to show you an example of this kind of enterprise big picture based on the well-established development value stream with safe implementation, scaled Agile framework. So when we are talking about discipline Agile is the framework in which you can embed different approaches, kind of hybrid, less, nexus, safe, anything that works for you, of course. So let's dive deeper into that, and we will finish with this. So this is a kind of scale of a year. We are starting in this company, of course, we're starting the year with some strategic planning. Well, not starting with the strategic planning, of course, we are doing strategic planning ending the previous year, but we are starting with already established, the strategic plans, the strategic decompositions. Why is that important? Because from that, you will have part of the initiative backlog. So inflow those initiative backlogs. But next, initiatives will be coming, to the value stream outside, from the customers, from the field, from the bottom-up approach, from the business process improvements, etc. So, but this is the other story. Anyways, they should come, to the portfolio 24/7, all over the year. In this company, they have kind of grooming. We are ending. Thank you. They have, kind of grooming or refinement of this portfolio backlog weekly. They have additional grooming monthly, reprioritization of the backlog on each month, and the main reprioritization quarterly. They synchronized the safe intake into development with the quarters and with their teams, and of course they established their release generation as the business needs. So this is in short, and with this, of course, with the feedback, we are trying to understand, our achievements. So with this, we are ending. Sorry for being over time. Do you have any more questions before? Yeah, okay. Thanks so much.